there, my name's Timmy Joe and I make videos about computers on the internet. And today on the program, my personal computer here, we're gonna find out, why is it making this noise? Hey Arctic, why is it making this noise? Okay, so this is my test bench computer. It's the computer I'm supposed to use to test video cards. There haven't been any video cards. Well, there are not really anyway. So I've just had this at my house and I've been using it as my full-time gaming PC because 3070, 5800X, why not? And then the other day, it's always been loud. It's always been pretty dang loud. And I know it's at that point here, that's better. It's always been loud, but the other day it started making that noise. And how I had to stop it while I was gaming was like that. There we go. So now that's better. But I don't know if you could tell, the power supply in this, I got a 750 watt bronze. It was part of a mono price deal. I had better power supplies at the time, but I was doing this mono price board. I think I used a Fire CUDA drive and a power supply from them, and it was like a whole sponsored video segment or whatever. So that's why I got this loud ass, it's an EVGA 750 bronze, and it's just, well, what's it pulling from the wall right now? Got Heaven benchmark open, right? And I was running some Cinebench. It's running 385 watts from the wall, but the fan in it is loud as all hell, and when you touch it, there's no hot air coming out the back of it. So I'm sure that we could just put either some sort of low noise adapter on the fan inside, and it will be absolutely fine as long as I keep the dust from gathering in the bottom of it. And then I'll have a much nicer, like this is a fractal design Measure-Phi case. It's got a whole bunch of 140s in it, and then I got this. It should be quiet if I tune it right. With the 5800X and whatnot, but that power supply is always so loud and it's uncontrollable. We've got to do something about it. I'm probably just going to disconnect that little Arctic fan, but I want to see if I can find out why it's making that noise, see if there's some way to take it apart without taking the whole thing out of my computer. And then last but not least, have you seen the GPU sag? I originally did have this in the build. I like to put these vertical GPU mounts because when I'm doing little videos like this and I'm trying to showcase the card, you get to see the front of it. And I don't typically put a side panel on, like I don't usually put the glass on there. But even if I did, this one from Fractal, it comes, or it's an accessory to the case, Flex B20 vertical riser bracket. It sets the card back so much in the case that there's no issue with like hot air trapped between the glass and whatever if you do want to put the glass on. So 3 parts today. Find out why the Arctic fan's making that noise, maybe discuss why it's stupid to put a little fan in there to begin with. Then we'll, the power supply is going to be the major work. And then this thing will take 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and do that. Follow me, kids. It's a video. So thanks to some of this case's ingenuity, I can pull the power supply out without having to deal with all the bull poop. Maybe, and it is modular. I'm dumb. It is modular. It's semi-modular. So I could unplug some of the stuff if I need to, but all I need to do, yeah, I do need to, I guess so. Pull 1, 2. There we go, and I have access, torque screws? Interesting. Flip. Alright, so would I ever recommend taking apart a power supply? Not really. Unless you're very savvy and you maybe want to have yourself electrocuted a little bit. There was an extra screw underneath that little sticker there. It's actually not a bad looking power supply. I did not expect it to be so dang loud. That's a humongous fan in there too. That gets super, super loud for no reason too. Like, I'm sure that this thing is fine. Like, it's not like there's tons of hot air pouring out of it. It's also, you know, 400 watts from the wall under load when it's a 750 watt power supply. There's no way the fan should be kicking on to a billion. So I'm gonna put a low noise adapter on it, probably. So that should be fun. All right, I got a couple options here. So low noise adapter, what am I talking about here? Well, Noctua fans tend to come with them. They're a resistor that goes in line with the fan, and it basically just makes it run at a lower RPM. The fan is always spinning at max RPM now. Interesting. There's no RPM sensor or anything on it either. What about this? I have a Silverstone fan, and it's the same size. Silverstone, right? And red's on the left. I might just run this fan to a PWM header on the motherboard, and then that way I can control it in the BIOS with the CPU temperature, and I'm sure that that should be fine and dandy enough to do what we're doing here. But let's just see how that one sounds. That's actually perfect. Alright, so Silverstone fan installed. It's running full bore right now. It's livable. It'll especially be livable once it's in the case and it's in the power supply and it's upside down and it's facing down. I'll go ahead and put her back together, then move on to the next problem. Now we're moving on to the Arctic. Yes, the Arctic. Liquid freezer 2, there we go. And the cooler, I've had to stick a pen in. Does it make noise right now? Let's see. It takes a while of it being on for the noise to start. It was, I thought I fixed it, and then like a day later it started making the noise again. When I got here, it didn't make the noise until about an hour's worth of heavy use, and then it started making the noise again. Yeah, it's not making the noise anymore. All right, there we go. All right, so what this video should really serve as is a lesson to manufacturers on eliminating frills that just aren't really needed from their products. In 2017, Arctic sent me a design for this. I swear it was like one of the first manufacturers I really worked with. And when they sent me it, it looked very, very similar to this, and it had this little fan. And I remember asking about it, and they kind of seemed like really, you know, like, this is an interesting feature, isn't it? This is going to cool the VRM. And I thought about that little fan cannot cool the VRM any better than a 140 or 120 mil fan that's right here on like 90% of computer cases. So it's really not useful. I mean, a really hot VRM is not going to be helped by a, what is that? You know, like a, I don't know, 20 mil fan or something like that. So what you're doing is introducing a point of failure. And that's what's happened here. This little fan has started to come off its axis and rub the, I don't know, is it broken? Like it seems like it's spinning fine. Ignore that little doohickey there. That's from me sticking the pen in there, I think, a few times. I was trying to like move it around to get it to just like stop making the noise. I thought maybe if I stuck stuff in there and like repositioned the fan, or if I pushed down on it really hard, maybe it would stop doing the noise, but definitely not. So rather than do anything, you know, like excessive with this, it seems as though we can just disconnect it that easy. It really, really does look like it's that easy. There's just a little disconnection point right underneath it, and that should be enough. think we accomplished what we needed to do here today. We got the vertical GPU bracket installed. It's super easy. You just take out all the little, these things, and it fits in its place. And then you use a PCIe riser, and it's a little bit inset. I'd say about 3 inches into the case. Really nice little situation. My mouse was falling down. And yeah, so the reason why I took that off originally was I had this problem where like sudden jolts while I'm playing video games, like if I'm, Fortniting and then I go, damn it, computer would freeze. And I was worried it was the GPU bracket. It actually turned out that once I reseated the memory, that stopped happening. So that solved that. Put the GPU bracket in there. It looks cool. It gives a little bit easier access to switching out graphics cards, which is pretty cool. All that good stuff. So then, secondly, we stopped that little fan from spinning by disconnecting it underneath it. I mean, I could have went into a whole process of taking the pump apart to get that little fan out of there and trying to figure out why it was, I guess, extending itself into its shroud so that it would make that noise. But I just did that with a graphics card fan and I wasn't successful, and that's just for aesthetics, so turn it off and it's fixed. Last but not least is that 750 watt EVGA power supply. I don't see why the fan should be audible on it. I think that's simply or it's not an oversight, it's there purposely to make you go, wow, next time I really should buy the gold power supply. Like that's what it's there for. There's no way it was getting hot enough to necessitate the fan running full bore on it. And when it did, it was really loud. So we replaced it with another fan, a Silverstone fan of the same size, and put a low noise adapter on it. So now it's on beside me, and I don't imagine it's gonna get any louder than it is right now. And the rest of the computer is pretty silent, actually. It's pretty good. Typically, the loudest thing in this thing when it's running properly is the graphics card, because it has really bad coil whine. As I've shown in a few Instagram stories or whatever, YouTube stories and stuff like that. So follow me, hit the subscribe button, and we fixed it all. So I think that the moral of the story is, Arctic, you shouldn't have put that little fan in there. Manufacturers, you don't have to add little silly things that are like value-added features that just turn out to be something that might break later on and cause you to take your whole cooler out of your computer to send back for an RMA just for a little fan making noise, a fan that doesn't even really do anything. I don't know. So I'm gonna watch Timmy on Instagram and Twitter. I'll be back with some more videos now that this is here. I have a graphics card to test. Should be fun. See you later this week.